Good morning. I'm Christopher Shaw, the President of the Victorian Skeptics, and I'd like to welcome you to the 2006 Australian Skeptics National Convention in this magnificent age theatre, kindly provided with the sponsorship of the Melbourne Museum and its Science Director, Professor John Long. This year's theme is Science, Truth and the Media. But what does this mean to us? We're all humans, at least I presume you are, and one of the things that makes us so human is our drive to learn, to experience things. Television allows us to do this on a massive scale. We can go places we've never been and experience things we could never otherwise. Television also brings us entertainment. In the war between the two, entertainment seems to be winning. Back when television first came out, you took what you got. You watched whatever the television was prepared to give you. Some shows you were interested in, some shows you weren't. If you're interested in watching shows about trains, but it was news time, sorry, that's what you got. Even with multiple television channels, there's not much you can do when the rest of the family really wants to watch the news. Channel surfing really came into its own when households started getting multiple TV sets. No longer did you have to watch the television with your whole family, it was your TV. You could take control and watch whatever you want, changing channels as soon as one show bored you, moving from one to another, just click, click, click. Suddenly, there's competition between the channels. The advertisers who sponsor television shows want to know who's watching what. They want to know that they're putting their money and ads into the shows that give them maximum exposure, and so they monitor viewer activity. Now it's all about dollars and cents. Channels have a bottom line to support. Unless they put shows on that people want to watch, they won't get paid. So what will people watch? People will watch entertainment. People also like to watch shows they agree with. You all know the refrain of shows like Today, Tonight and A Current Affair. The kids of today are terrible, the elderly are hard done by, and everyone's trying to rip us off. Millions of people in their houses fervently agree. People don't like to watch shows that they don't agree with. I mean, what would be the point? And I bet very few of you regularly watched Crossing Over with psychic John Edward or the ABC's alternative medicine show Second Opinion. If you guys were representative of the general population, then these shows would have been quickly cancelled. Watching a show you agree with bolsters your self-esteem. Of course you're right. Your life is on the right track. There's no need to go back and change your opinion on anything. This show's good. I'll watch it again next week. TV shows also reinforce our beliefs. Maybe you thought that today's kids weren't really that bad. Just watch those tabloid shows a bit more and you'll be convinced. It doesn't really matter too much whether shows are presented as fact or fiction. We're primarily visually oriented creatures. If we've seen something with our own eyes, we assume it's probably the truth. Even if we're watching a magician, saw a lady in half, or watching the television. The more we see something, the more we accept it to be true. I've seen George Bush quite a few times on the television, so I'm guessing he's real. I've never seen any sign of him around here. I've never met him, but I assume he's real. I've seen him on the telly. Likewise, we all know that ghosts are semi-transparent and that aliens are small and grey with bulging heads with great black eyes. And sure, maybe all the shows we've watched that had these in them were fiction, but what we've seen so many of these kinds of shows that the images burnt into our minds. A common TV stereotype is the obsessed, white-coated scientist who has no clues about the real world and is always causing disasters. He'll get his just desserts. In the end, that'll teach him for tinkering with science. For most of the population, this is the only connection they have to scientists. No wonder there are so many conspiracy theories around. Many people believe there's something to the idea of there being psychics amongst us, people who can levitate objects purely with their brainwaves, who can cure all ailments with a touch, and can speak with the spirits of dead people. Once again, these are popular stereotypes pumped out by television for the purpose of entertainment. Being shown the same stereotype time and time again, the individual shows blur together into a common understanding. I'm still surprised how many people tell me that they're convinced that psychics have solved many murder cases, and on a little investigation, I find that they remember watching the overly sensational TV show Sensing Murder and being thrilled by the psychic's ability to solve each of the cold cases. Trouble is, as I've commented before, they're all still unsolved. We've seen so many fictional TV shows with scripts and special effects that we forget it's fiction. Now, we have cable TV and videos we can watch over the internet. If I want to watch shows about trains 24 hours a day, I can. No longer having to wait until a program comes on, I can watch something I'm interested in whenever I want. I can spend all my time watching shows about aliens, or about psychics, or about preachers with healing hands. The more I watch these shows, the more I'm convinced they're right. I'm right. I can live in my own comfortable bubble of reality. Trouble is, that's not the way the real world works. That's not the way science works. It doesn't care about keeping you happy. It's not democratic or fair. The common mantra, we each have our own reality, is wrong. We can't choose our own reality like we can choose what we watch online. I can decide that I want to watch nothing but science fiction all day, but that doesn't mean when I walk out into the street, I'll bump into aliens everywhere. If I watch religious shows all day, every day, I'll start to think that the whole world follows my religion. If I always watch American dramas, I'd better make sure that I don't try and drive on the wrong side of the road or claim that I have a constitutional right to bear weapons. Certainly, there is some scientific or even sceptical content out there. We mustn't overlook the efforts of Penn and Teller's TV show Bullshit, or the YouTube videos tirelessly uploaded by our own Richard Saunders. But this is a tiny drop in the ocean compared to the vast amount of content out there. I have a friend who never knows what's going on in world affairs. She never reads the newspaper or watches the news on TV. Each day she tunes into the cartoon channel. That's all the media she watches. And what a happy world she lives in.